My name is Muzammil Sheikh, part of Mira Business FM, and as part of the UAE business landscape, we are talking about the most talked about topic in the UAE, which is blockchain and crypto and investing and all of that. All of the, what's the word here? All the activity or the misconceptions and narratives around which is spoken about the blockchain and UAE, and we'll try to demystify and clarify as much as we can. So we have MJ Zerehpoush with us, who is a blockchain project manager. He is an educator and also a radio host on our neighborhood station called the Crypto Radio. And please, Mr. Zerehpoush, if you can.
Hi, thank you for having me today here. And today morning when I was before coming here, I was thinking that it's good to be on the other side of the table, because I've been hosting people for the past few months in the radio. So it's good to be hosted, I think, to see how it feels to be on the other end of the table. Hello again, everyone. My name is MJ Zerehpoush. I'm a blockchain project manager. I've been into the whole crypto space and blockchain space for since late 2015. It's been almost a decade now. And recently I've shifted actually my focus from building towards educating people on what is blockchain, what is crypto, and how people can utilize this technology for their lives, for their daily, everyday lives. And this is my main focus right now, to help the adoption process, to try to facilitate as much as I can. And recently I've joined the Crypto Radio, which we are the first 24/7 streaming media dedicated only to crypto, blockchain, and Web3.
Right. So it's nice to have someone doing this work in the community here. Let's quickly start with the pain points in the UAE people are facing, and maybe you can share your story as well, how you ended up in the space. Is that we are getting a lot of press in the news and about people getting scammed, or people think it's a scam. And let's first get that out of the way, because usually that's the top of mind concern for most people, and how much they can. What's the mindset they should be operating in to just not be closed off to, towards blockchain, crypto, or investing in the space, and understanding the differences between what they're dealing with, because they are getting approached by international calls, local calls, and WhatsApp messages, Telegram messages, all platforms, Signal messages. Everyone's getting messages, yes. and there are endless stories where someone decided to choose a platform, and the money was gone, rug pull happened, all of that stuff happening. That has nothing to do with the space. It's just bad actors taking advantage of innocent people. And that's everywhere. But since the topic is in the news all the time, they take advantage of the news flow, and effectively rob people of their life savings. So let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, actually, I have a very interesting story for you. That's how I got dragged into the whole, sometimes I call it crypto and blockchain black hole. Back in 2015, a friend of mine told me that there is this platform. I just because I studied biomedical engineering, I'm originally a biomedical engineer, nothing to do with the crypto or computer science and anything like that, or even the markets. And a friend of mine told me that there's this platform, we can invest in it, give them our money, and they will buy crypto for us, something called Bitcoin. And at that time I heard about Bitcoin, but I was never interested about it. I thought it's just going to be like a temporary hype and it's going to be gone after a while. And but I said the dividends was really interesting. It was really eye-catching, to be honest. It was, at that time also, it felt too good to be true, but I wasn't aware that it's going to be a scam. So anyway, long story short, I invested the minimum package in that platform. It was more than 2 months of my salary at that time, so it was kind of a lot of money. And
what was the mindset? What was going through your mind that made you pull the trigger? What was the key decision maker? What did they say to you? Was it something? Was it greed, or was it fear? Was it a pitch? How did you come to the conclusion of, okay, fine, I'm going to put my money into this?
100% greed. 100% greed, nothing else. Making money. just putting my money somewhere in some platforms. They will do the magic for me, and I'll become not a millionaire, but I'll make some money out of it. So the first month, I got some good dividends. I got some good profit out of it, and I was seeing that I don't exactly remember it was how much exactly was the Bitcoin at that time, but it was in few hundred dollars, definitely less than $1,000. So I was seeing the numbers, making money. I was really happy about it. The second month, the platform was gone. Nothing,
Wow.
nothing there. So I was officially scammed. It was really painful. It was really painful. 2 months of my hard work salary was gone, and I didn't make anything out of it. So instead of becoming skeptical about the crypto, and at that time, the only crypto at that time was that was famous, at least compared to nowadays, market was Bitcoin. So I started digging about what is Bitcoin, what is cryptocurrency, and what is the blockchain behind it. I started digging, I started doing more researches, and I became really curious that what is this Bitcoin that people are scamming me about it. And that's how I was dragged into the crypto market and blockchain, and I got introduced to some of the brand new, still like startups of crypto and blockchain projects. And I started actually as a part-time job with them as an ICO sales agent. And at that time, it was the toughest thing to do because people had no idea what is the crypto itself rather than knowing what is ICO. So I had to do a whole, for example, in a meeting, I had to spend in 1 hour meeting, let's say I had to spend like 40 minutes or 45 minutes explain what the whole thing is. And the last 15 minutes I had to talk the person into buying this kind of crypto. So yeah, it was like a hell of a journey for me.
I mean, it's a good thing you didn't get dissuaded by the catastrophe. Basically, at this point, I'll just gonna inject that it's the Bitcoin itself is not a company. So what happened is that it was nothing to do with even crypto. You could say to some extent it was basically a fiat scam, meaning that they took your regular money, they showed it as a Bitcoin or something, and they disappeared. But it was packaged as something, it's Bitcoin crypto. That's why people get confused, the two issues, because Bitcoin is something which is running on the blockchain by itself. It is not even a company. There's nothing around it. And all of the infrastructure has coalesced and created, it took 15 years to do that, slowly it happened. So this is why we're having this discussion, that we are deep unpacking the scam versus the the asset versus the work, so people confuse all of it together. And then the greed thing is important, that they were able to, first of all, I don't know how they found you. That's the question, right? That's one thing. They are finding
Referred through a friend. Who heard about it through another friend, and a friend.
Word of mouth. Also, there's a big issue where our personal information is being sold in the UAE in databases, and people's full salaries and full names and members IDs are available. So they know how much you're making, and they're able to pitch their sales pitch according to your mindset and the person you are.
Yeah.
So this is very important. That's why we are focusing on, we're starting the show with this important thing, that be aware, don't get confused, and ask questions. As there's a book called Practice the Pause. So practice the pause before thinking and doing, before jumping into it. And now what we'll talk about next is that, okay, we've set aside the scam part. Let's talk about blockchain and the work, what's going on in the blockchain space, and then how the UAE is motivated, and not just motivated, rather it's investing direct money into developing the blockchain. Why do they care for it so much?
The thing is that blockchain, UAE has always wanted to be the best, which they are doing a great job. I've been living in Dubai, in UAE, for past 22 years. So I've seen a lot of developments happening here in Dubai, in UAE, and I know how much they love to be the best, to have the best infrastructure, to have the best malls, to biggest and fastest, and all of these things. And right now, they are investing a lot of money into emerging technologies, calling AI, blockchain, and all these things. For example, and right now, even as a side project, let's call it like that, for blockchain, they are right now investing into the stable coins, for example, like AE coin, digital dirhams, and everything, which digital dirham itself is going to be launched by the end of the year. Dubai is really leading the charge in the past few years. I remember before talking about like 5, 10 years ago, even let's call it 10 years ago, most of the countries they used to look what US is doing in terms of technology and developments, and they used to follow US as one of the biggest economies also out there, the most powerful country out there. But right now, I think, from my point of view at least, the countries calling US, even EU countries, the European countries, they are looking at Dubai and UAE, what UAE is doing, and now they're following their steps, the UAE steps, whatever they are doing, because they are doing great job. And the fact is that recently they have launched actually blockchain projects for their different sectors. For example, talking about all our Emirates IDs are now the data are stored under private blockchain, and the reason is of using blockchain in government sector, in financial sector, is that first of all, it is the most secure infrastructure, the most secure system to use. It is impenetrable. No one can penetrate blockchain, at least until today. A proper coded blockchain cannot be hacked. That is number one. Number two, it is fast. Building it might have some cost in the short term, but in the long run, the benefits will supersede all those costs that governments or companies have paid for it. Dubai Land Department they have their own private blockchain. I think I'm 99% sure it's called Hyperledger, the private blockchain that they're using. It is because it's very compatible. It's very easy to use as well. It's very easy to modify. Don't want to make it very technical to make it confusing.
So let's compare someone who is in a position and they are in a position to say, okay, I can buy a Oracle database and build something with Oracle, or I can build something with a private blockchain. What is the decision-making process between the two, and why? Because I can understand, okay, because there's an ongoing license and maintenance involved with Oracle, with security patches and other things happening. What is the ongoing cost with maintaining a private blockchain?
Well, the cost can vary, but the first thing that any company or government, they have to ask themselves before starting getting into the whole blockchain system, why they want to do it. Governments, it is good for them to use it, but even for companies or smaller sectors, do they really need it? Does it really worth to spend that much of money to have a blockchain system?
What's the criteria? What's the checklist? What would you say headline 1, 2, 3 to go in that direction? Okay, you do the decision tree. 1, 2, 3 is there. Take a left, go to classical database, take a right, go to the blockchain. Or how would you describe that?
Both of them are good. And actually, they can coexist together, because there are some oracles right now that you can have the off-chain data used on-chain. For example, one of the well-known projects for doing that is Chainlink. They have their own, using Chainlink blockchain technology, you can use and have the off-chain data. For example, if you're using, let's say, Oracle system, you can use that data and link it and bridge it on-chain and use it, have those data on-chain for faster, more secure, and more transparent usage of data. The thing is that on blockchain, especially on private blockchain, you can adjust how transparent you want to be. There are so many different protocols right now on blockchain. For example, I'll give you an example. You want to get a loan. What the banks usually does, they will do a research. They will call other banks and credit scores to check your credit score, your background, how much you're making money, and all those things. So all your data will be transparently shared with the bank that you want to get your loan from. But on the blockchain, there is something called ZK, zero knowledge. Using the ZK knowledge protocol,
ZK proofs, I think.
Yeah, ZK proof, ZK knowledge, zero knowledge proof. It works like this, actually. They cannot ask how much money you're making. The only questions that they can ask is like a yes and no question. Is the applicant making, for example, plus $10,000 or below. So it's like, then the answer will be yes and no. It's like zero and ones. It cannot be anything between the answer taken, which the person is inquiring. It cannot be like for example, a number. It's yes or no.
Binary responses.
It's a binary responses. So it is keeping your data secured, more secure than the traditional systems. Right. And even for example, the data provider cannot have direct access to those data. So you will have more security at the same time having a transparent access to a limited amount of data.
And how many people do you think, staff-wise, for example, if you have a department, how many people you need to hire to maintain a blockchain running a department? How many developers? How many engineers?
You can right now. It has become really easy actually. If you want to develop one blockchain and maintain it, 2-3 people the blockchain itself only can be enough. Especially nowadays, there are AI agents. Some small tasks can be given to the AI agents to be done. But developing blockchain, for example, now because there are so many blockchain they called EVM, Ethereum EVM compatible, which they're technically just copying the code of the open source code of Ethereum, and they're just changing some factors, some small details in it, and coming up with their own blockchain. It is very easy, very quick, and all the tools are out there. So you don't need to have like a huge team of 50, 80, or 100 people to develop one blockchain. No, just few really good technical people, maybe 3 to 5 people can easily run and handle one blockchain.
So that brings the question of career-wise. So now we have agents, AI agents. I'm not sure if you want to mention some names. Those can be used. Maybe some kind of vibe coding or something. I don't know. That can be used. And like a library already exists for most of the work is already been done. And why should someone who's deciding, in the industry, why should they enter this industry, which is apparently shrinking in some ways? But it sounds like that you don't need that many people, right? Of course, maybe the total ecosystem will expand, but only to the point where only the larger players will need a blockchain, because not everyone needs a blockchain. Like you said, it makes sense. And there are only, let's say, Fortune 500 companies, I don't know how many here, a few of them, very, very, very less of them. So why would someone choose a career, and then wouldn't that be detrimental to them, that if they do something and it's rapidly evolving so fast that by the time they hit the market, that it's gone, or maybe it's so diminished, or their role has been, somewhat outsourced to the agent and diminished. You see where I'm going there. So career-wise, how can we help the professionals who are thinking of working in the space, or students who want to go in the space? How does it fit in their long-term track or short-term, medium-term?
There are two things here, two subjects. One of them is that the AI agents and the works that they can do, and the other one is working in the blockchain sector or crypto space. The thing is that not all roles and jobs in the crypto space is about coding and developing. I have no idea how to write a simple line of code. I have no idea. If you show me a page of codes of blockchain or a crypto, I have no idea what it is saying. But I am working in this space. The thing is that there are so many roles, even traditional roles, can with slight knowledge, very basic knowledge of crypto and blockchain, they can start working in this space. Because any blockchain project, if they want to go mainstream and they want to have, for example, their tokens, or even they want to build something, they need, for example, team managers, they need procurement, they need sales, they need marketing, they need all these traditional roles that they are already working.
Support functions.
Yes, support functions. Right. Okay, so all these people are again needed in the blockchain space. So it's not like you have to be a coder, a developer, or someone with the hoodie or anything technical. You don't need to be technical to be working there. I'm sure, for example, again, back to UAE. Right now, UAE is one of the leading company, is the leading company in tokenized real estate. One of the yesterday, actually, the second tokenized property in Dubai was sold out in 2 minutes by one of the local companies here in UAE. But the thing is that I'm 100% sure probably even 90% of the employees, they have no technical knowledge about how tokenization and how blockchain works. They don't need to. Just need to have some basic information about it, and they can easily get into this space. And right now, there are so many job openings, for example, careers out there for people with traditional knowledge. When I'm talking about traditional knowledge, I don't mean to like people using the old devices. No, I'm talking again about the common roles. Going to repeat them again. For example, like accountants, project manager, which I am one of them, project coordinator, for any other department of like any company, those roles are again needed in this space. So I always welcome people in the traditional business to try their luck in the crypto space, in the blockchain space. It is, from my point of view, at least, it is more fascinating. It is because it is still evolving. It is an emerging technology. It is good to have that knowledge and get into the space. Now, talking about AI, that some jobs can be done through AI. I was reading an interesting article the other day, and it was saying that you do not have to be worried that our jobs will be taken by AIs, because the future roles and careers will be taken by the people who know how to work with the AI agents and AI.
That makes sense.
Again, if you want to advance your career, if you want to know what is the next step, so you will not be left behind without, God forbid, without a job, sitting at home, keep learning, because education is the key. Whether it is about AI, whether it is about crypto markets, blockchain technology, anything, we have to educate ourselves so we can keep the pace. Because right now, the blockchain is being, not only blockchain, so many technologies are advancing with a really fast pace. The adoption is growing also really fast, so we have to keep up with the pace.
Let's also address something which is important, that if so we address the scams, we address the development side and career side and students and all of that, and actual the industry as well. Let's also address that if someone wants to allocate capital, let's clarify the point that investing in a blockchain project is not investing in an ICO, is not investing in the token trading on exchanges, which is the common mistake some people might make. They might be uninformed, or they might have not done. We always urge people that please spend some time, don't rush into anything, just read more, practice the pause, read more, and until you find the answer. You don't need to immediately invest anything, because all of the investments that are happening, the discussion in what we're discussing in the show is that the government is investing directly. They're not floating a token around. They're not releasing any tokens. This is where the gray area and maybe the red flags come up, that if a project is valid, why do you need to raise money around it if you have investors, privately speaking, which is where the space is suffering from a credibility and image problem, is that if these other actors will disappear or go in the background, then the real projects which are meaningful will become in the forefront, and then the space will get more real capital from in a way which doesn't have to be from retail, because these projects are effectively private equity, what the government is doing, and even in the companies. They require a business mindset, not necessarily a trading mindset, not necessarily exchange. There's no need for it. It should not come from that direction, which is historically which has plagued the last cycle, what happened in people investing in the coins and all of that. So this is what we have to emphasize, that what MJ is talking about is the blockchain as a business, as real infrastructure, not a trading tool, not an investment tool. Like, okay, you enter the space. That's why we are spending so much time about the real world doing the work, instead of throwing money at something to get a quick buck, which is why everyone gets hurt at some point. Even with legitimate investments, people can get hurt. So how can people get involved? Is there any forums here? Maybe there are meetups happening. Is the government doing any kind of reach out? Online communities, offline communities, I don't know. Is there anything else going on so far?
There are two different aspects actually right now, right here. It's when talking about investment in this space. We have something, as you mentioned, investing in a blockchain project, for example, if they are government-based, mostly, at least here in UAE, they are being funded by the government directly. So it is not something that we can even, it is open to the public to invest in. Okay, that is one thing. But investing into the whole, for
I
example,
suppose they can get involved as a vendor. I mean, they can get involved. The government is developing the blockchain. They will need people to, like you said, that the staffing around it and the consultancy required around it. That is also kind of an indirect investment. You have a team, you build the team, or you are the team, and you get involved with the government doing what they're doing. I mean, they are the capital allocators, and you are basically the brain and the hands of it.
like the contractor.
Contracting,
kind of
technology contractor. Yeah?
Yes, something like that. There are ways actually people can do that. I'm not because I've never been personally. It's my personal opinion. I've never been interested in investing in like government-based projects. It's my just personal opinion, not a financial advice. So it's just my personal opinion, as I said, because personally, I'm looking for something more probably emerging, something like different. Because investing into governmental project is like owning a share of something. It's like when, for example, there are right now government companies that are listed on stock exchanges or anything like that. We can invest in those companies. For example, just an example, Etisalat. They have their own shares. We can buy Etisalat shares, and this is again investing in those projects, in future projects of Etisalat, buying their shares and becoming a part of that. But what I believe from all the past 10 years, what I've seen in people, they would like to invest in other things which are more public. And the thing is that blockchain, the philosophy behind the blockchain and cryptocurrency was decentralization. People are mainly interested to follow that decentralization path, to fund some projects, to buy those cryptos, making money. It is very good thing. We all love making money. No one can say, no, I don't want to make money. At certain level, we all want to make money. But the thing is that there is a saying in the crypto space, DYOR, D-Y-O-R, do your own research. Okay, so no matter what kind of, it is actually a very general thing, no matter what kind of investment we want to do, no matter what kind of decision we want to make, we have to make sure we do a proper research. If it is, for example, any blockchain, what is the purpose of that blockchain project? If it is a crypto, you want to buy it, what is the purpose of that crypto project? What is it trying to solve a problem? Who's the team behind it? Where are they based? And is there, like, for some project also, is there proper documentation? When we are talking about documentation in the blockchain space and crypto space, we are talking about something called white paper, which the details of every single details, the roadmap of the blockchain of that project is written there. So people want to do anything, do any investment, make sure to do their research, to proper research, and don't rush to anything, because if something sounds too good to be true, at least it's 99%, it definitely is. It is fake. Okay, so these are something that we have to be careful about it. And as I said again, investing into blockchain project and crypto project, two different things. Because we got millions of cryptos right now out there. Yesterday when I was checking the CoinGecko, it was saying, if I'm not mistaken, 14 million tokens.
6,000, say 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was just few thousand cryptos.
Really bad.
And right now there are so many out there, and because there are some tools out there, for example, the pump not fun. I'm not a fan of meme coins because there is no utility behind them. It's just, again, my personal opinion.
It's a money laundering tool, basically.
Money laundering can be so many things, but the thing is that the philosophy behind the meme coins, for example, is making money. And who wants to make money? The person who created that meme coin. There's no other use case behind it. Right now, recently, I've heard and seen some of these meme coins, because they have a huge community, huge amounts of money. They are trying to create some use cases. But once the use case comes, is it really a meme coin? Because as a definition, meme coin is something without any use case, just a meme. And the only thing backing it is the community behind it.
There's one thing I want to add. Like I was involved early days with some of the tokens, and some projects did materialize, and they are being used at the moment. And the people holding those tokens, they bought them in dollars or Bitcoin or whatever they used. And the project is completely valid. It's being used by a lot of people. It's been used for buying gaming skins and all of that stuff in the gaming ecosystem. But what does it really mean? What I mean to say is that the price of whatever the skin is sold in the game has nothing to do with the token price. That's what the disconnect with people don't understand, is that you having those tokens which you bought is not directly linked to the product. Is valid. The project is valid. They didn't scam anyone. But the price of what the people are investing in has a complete disconnection with the actual project. And that's not the creator's fault to some extent, because it's a market. The market is public.
A very tangible example. When I buy, let's say, any car brand, okay, I'm buying the product. I'm not buying the shares of that company. For example, if I'm driving, not advertisement, a Mercedes-Benz, for example. I'm not buying the shares of Mercedes. I don't own anything in Mercedes. I just bought a product. For example, in-game skins, as you say, in the crypto space, in the play-to-earn games. I'm not buying the shares, or I'm not buying the token of that project. So as you say, just want to explain it with one tangible example so people can feel it. So again, as you said, if I'm buying the skin of a game, if I'm buying in the tangible world, if I'm buying a product, a car of any brand, I should not expect, okay, so the price of the shares should go up, or the price in the terms of cryptocurrency, that the price of the crypto should go up. Exactly as you mentioned. So we have to differentiate what we are getting ourselves into. Are we just playing the game to have some fun, or we want to make money? We have to choose our side.
What happens with the white paper is that the story is sold via the white paper, and that may be perfectly valid, and the intentions might be pure and all of that, but it's the market in the end that decides the price of whatever asset. And at the moment, the world has moved officially and properly, like in proper ways towards Bitcoin, meaning that people should not think of everything else. Like I say to everyone, like which is the asset without an issuer? There's only one asset without an issuer. That's Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, exactly.
Every other asset has been issued and is run as a development company or a project. I'm not doubting their intention, but the minute they list it on exchange, it's a gray to red zone immediately, because the exchange is accessible to retail and everyone who is not doing any homework. That's why there's something called the accredited investor model, where the US designed it that, okay, accredited investor means your liquid net worth should be more than, I think, $1 million or $200,000, I forget. Then that should be, your income should be this much in the year, so you can afford to lose that money. Literally, that's why it's there, so that people don't get hurt and burned. And you have to share your documents and your bank statements signed by a lawyer. It's a protection model for retail. It hurts them sometimes, it helps them sometimes. However, which has been taking advantage of that. And I would say here, I would add that the legitimate players have been hurt in the crypto space because of the bad guys. Because the bad guys are out competing the good guys. That's the sad part. So the industry needs to make efforts around cleaning up those people that, hey man, I'm not gonna list it. It's gonna be listed in let's say, for example, here in the UAE, we're gonna list it on the DFM, let's say even. We're going to list it where it's properly regulated, that people cannot play around with it. And we're not doing, there's no even a question of, front running or trade, or, the wash trading happening, all of that. Those things are not happening. We are doing everything to be fair to the final investor. And if something goes wrong, it'll be the business not working, environmental factors, not us trying to, scam or indirectly scamming. Because there's something called, I say that some people, a lot of times it's not scam, it's incompetence. A lot of people forget that it's literally incompetence, that the company failed. A lot of the people who lose their money in the stock market, it's incompetence. Or you would say, for example, Amazon, Tesla in the early days, they were losing money, and then people were, and now where they are, it's a different story. So we don't know where it's going to land. And that's why this conversation is happening. That you were right about the example about the car. That the product is not the investment. The product, it's fantastic product. Tesla also nice car. Again, some people will say, I'll never buy the car. Some people will say, I'll never buy the stock, or they will say, I will only buy the stock. I will never buy the car, either or.
Exactly. But there is something, there's a big difference from what you're saying. It's kind of true that people should, something that I always say, I never give financial advices to no one, not even my family or friends. But one thing I always tell people, everyone, only invest amounts of money that you can afford to lose, because no matter, as you said, how legitimate they actually are, maybe it's the competency that they cannot make it to the next step. They cannot make money, they cannot make any profit out of it. But there is another thing, is that listing crypto still is not as regulated as the stock companies, or like the actual physical tangible companies out there that they want to be listed on a stock exchange or anything else. Because anyone at any moment right now that we are talking, I can just create one token and launch it without anyone noticing, without any authorization that I'll be needing. Okay, so this is the big difference between this and between these two markets.
And this is why the US delisted many of the tokens, because if the Binance US and OKX and everyone, whoever was on even Coinbase, they had to delist because they failed the Howey test, which is is it a security, not a security? Which is, are you a share or not a share, right?
The regulation in US is very much tighter. Sorry to go short something, because I may forget this one. Even in the UAE, they're doing the same thing. When some exchanges like OKX and Binance and some other ones, when they got their vola license, they did some.
They stopped their services. They stopped their yield programs.
Yeah.
They delisted many of the tokens.
Future trades.
Future trades.
If right now on my, for example, OKX exchange, because I did what is it called? Switch actually from the OKX Global to OKX UAE.
They migrated the users.
Yeah, I migrated. I changed my some of the information, the details on my accounts, and I personally accepted to become a UAE account holder in the OKX. And after that, I noticed I cannot do any more future trades. And if I want to do, I have to pass certain criteria. My holdings should be over $1 million, something like that. So they really increased the bar, even for any day traders. They
used to have also, I believe, a high yield on USDT, which they stopped that as well.
Yes.
6%, 7%, they stopped that.
Exactly.
And, but they have reintroduced very low yield on Bitcoin recently. I saw that, very low, point something. So the reason I was just focusing on Bitcoin is because Mubadala, Abu Dhabi, invested $500 million last year. And this is the safe space. Like, this is becoming digital gold. And it's been, now at this point, it's not even, you can talk about it in a more comfortable and confident way, that yes, the only thing we can comfortably talk about is Bitcoin, because the governments have said yes, the US government has said yes, BlackRock has said yes, Mubadala has said yes, like all okay. Everyone, they are not just yes, like in words, yes with their capital, right? So, and then, 30, 40 ETFs floating around. I mean, endless.
A lot of ETF talks here and there.
Right. So that is something we can safely talk about. It's like no different talking about regular gold, right? Okay. No one is going to have a problem if you buy gold. No one is going to be concerned about that too much. True. But the other space we talked about is that please don't, and to the audience is that please don't confuse blockchain, crypto, investing, Bitcoin, career. All of these are separate verticals.
Sure. And
each require deep, thoughtful diligence. And I would say step back and re-examine your learning process. Okay, reading something is fine, but are you really understanding something? Okay, you read it 20 times, still you didn't understand it. It took me many years to even keep that. Someone said that, are you that person who is willing to listen to yourself? Like have you become that person? Have your structures become shackles? Are you listening to yourself to new ideas, or what? Or did you close all the doors? Like, oh man, I'm done. I'm getting older, or whatever. I'm done with my ways. So this is where the mistakes will happen. That getting stuck in your ways, that you will miss the opportunity to grow in so many ways. I mean, until you're, as they say, that life only stops when you're dead. So
true.
and I think we did a very healthy discussion today, and thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me today here with you. Thank you
If
so
you have
much.
any closing thoughts, we can.
There are three words which I personally I believe in. I came up with it: educate, elevate, earn. These are the main three things that can help you in any aspect of the life, not only in crypto, in anything in the life. So if you are well aware of the decision that you're going to make, or the whatever you want to get in yourself into, if you're well educated enough, you can elevate yourself and you can start earning, and you can earning not only in terms of money but in terms of success. So this is something that I always share at the end of my most of my podcasts, even my on the radio and all speeches on the conferences. So good luck everyone out there. Wish you all the best. And again, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, MJ. And this is Muzammil from Mira Business FM signing off.